All right. What's going on, traders? Wanted to run through the same pairs that we highlighted yesterday, just to kind of see how moves turned out, what all happened, so on and so forth. USD JPY, huge move since we reacted to the top of this wedge shape as well as this key level, broke 50 EMA like easy, and we're still going down. Um, I don't know. Profit target probably somewhere down here, 200 EMA. I'd be watching. Yeah, something like that, or a recent low, something like right in here. So let me go ahead and draw that in. Maybe I'm looking back in history to try to see if it's been a point of price gathering a little bit. I can leave that in there for now. Um, that's going to be the price target. MACD is still divergent, and if I go to 4 hour, you're going to see that this was steadily on the decline. No real pullbacks for an entry here. Not yet, at least. And sometimes that happens, man. The market just runs away. This is the only, I guess, pullback really, but it went beyond the pivot area. So would have bled a little bit right in here and take that all the way down on the 1 hour chart. I like this though. This is a hell of a play. I'm catching it off of the daily. I'm just really paying attention to this entry right here. I think that was the key on this one. So that both sell. Let's look at the next. NZD USD. Remember, I was talking about this being a potential bearish play, and let me go to where we were wrong here. So I was looking for this to be like a little pullback, and then we bounce off a pivot in 50 EMA to take this down. Instead, it broke that area. We had some MACD divergence that I wasn't paying attention to. They could have told me that story, but we broke that area, went above it, still up above it. These are the bars from yesterday, and this was the big break, and then we kind of just went up a little bit, came back, and went sideways. So overall, we're kind of sideways at this point. I think maybe I don't know. I'm gonna watch it. I'm looking for this to be bearish. I'm looking for a rollover here. Looking for some kind of rollover. Um, and like anybody, I'm human, and I have a bias on this market right now. So I think we're maxed out up in this area, and that maybe it is time to roll over. Um, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We just came out of this low though, so maybe we are going back up to. This is where the move originated a while back. That was in April of this year, and maybe we're going back up. Maybe we'll go test um, this key level again, or maybe all the way up to 618 fib. We'll see. That's NZD, USD. So the rest of the pairs, like I had mentioned this, I believe it was Monday, that all these pairs are kind of correlated, moving in the same direction. This looks like a good area to get in. So if you're looking live right now, pay attention to this. This actually might be a decent time to jump into this and take a really quick trade if that's what you want to do. That goes against my overall sentiment, right? My long term, what I think is going to happen with this. But that does not mean that you can't make money in a quick day trade, and literally a trade that lasts max a day. I wouldn't try to bank anything big off of this. probably be below 200 EMA. I'm usually below this green, but I just don't think the risk reward is going to be worth it here. So maybe we're right in here and take a 2%. There's like this, always this balance that you're trying to strike between being intelligent with your stop losses, being on the right side of the probability, and also not being greedy. You can't be greedy here, but you can also squeeze a little bit more out of your trade, especially if you have in place some barriers. So I have a 50 in place that's kind of being broken, really. This pivot, I've got this key level, and then I've got this 200 EMA. So even if we get into this area right here, I'm probably going to be watching and looking to get out. And I feel like that's a good area. Look how price converged right there. Anyways, there is opportunity for a quick little trade here. So NZD go check that out if that's something that you trade. Probably worth looking at. This looks like it's shaping up to be a downward move. Might be wishful thinking. Let's go back here. Okay, so I've got this factor. So the 4-hour 50 EMA is also standing there as resistance. Maybe it bounced down. That's what I'm going to be looking for at least. Okay. GBP AUD. Oh yeah, I wanted this to go up, but it's going down, by the way. Remember, I had mentioned that in order for it to match with my theory that NZD is bearish right now, I need GBP to be bullish. But right now, GBP is bearish and NZD is bullish. It's just how it goes sometimes. This is an important point to make, though, that just because you're seeing a certain thing on the long term doesn't mean that the short term supports it. In the short term, you gotta wait until it matches the long term, or you can take trades on the short term that are quicker, shorter in length, literally, day trades, in and out type of thing. But that's, like picking up quarters in traffic. You just you got to be at a certain level to where you can actually do that responsibly. And, it's a skill for sure. But I like looking at the higher time frames and kind of understanding overall where I think things are going to go. Because what that does is it kind of sets you up to know that you're going to be in a quick trade. Some of these trades that I do, like the pyramid reversal strategy, is kind of I'm in right here, and then I'm riding this all the way up until it reaches here. That's a long ass trade, and this is a daily chart, so ain't no telling how many days it takes for it to actually reach back to this level. Um, you know, but whenever you've got a clear discrepancy in your long-term views versus your intraday charts, you can know that it's a short-term trade, and so you're not in it for a long time. You're not even looking to be in it for a long time. You let it ride, but you also pay really, really close attention and say, all right, after a day, if it hasn't moved in the direction that it's supposed to, I'm just going to take the trade off. And maybe that means I'll break even. Maybe that means it's a small win or a small loss. But at least you understand the factors that are at play, at large. So that's a really, really smart way to look at it. If I do say so myself. GBP AUD kind of creeping upwards, but nothing, no real entry here yet that I'm seeing. Euro CAD, beautiful entry yesterday that I drew that in, and that's a big trade. That's a pretty big trade because you can, like I said, put an alert here, and then you ride this up, and now we're at 3%. This is a 3-to-1. So what I like to do is what they call in infinite prosperity is rolling your trade. So you roll from a power trade into a hyper trade. if you haven't taken the course yet, I strongly encourage you do it because it's going to make a lot more sense, and you're going to be able to come up with your own strategies and your own ways to implement what they teach as a foundation. It's always important to kind of get that foundational knowledge so that you can make it your own and understand it like the back of your hand. Go through that course. I went through that thing like 2, 3 times easily, alongside the live trader sessions with Irek Piekarski, and now I'm looking at his course. And anyways, man, I've been at this for a long time, so this is it's a good opportunity to hone your skills. But yeah, we rolled that one. Let me turn off my mailbox here. Euro AUD. I've got this one definitely bounced too. I don't know why I didn't see that yesterday. Maybe I wasn't really looking at it. Maybe I was looking at this 618 because this is 618 and that's important level most of the time. So maybe I didn't want to trade into it. I bet that's what it was. Yeah, I bet that's what it was. I thought it was going to kind of go down here, which it did, and then I didn't see it bounce down again. But anyways, this was the bar from yesterday. That doesn't say, hey, take this higher, A good sign, so this is a daily chart. A good sign is we're above 50 MA, right? A bad sign is we're trading into 618, which is one of the most coveted fib levels. Like everybody trades off of that one. And, obviously the 5 and 382 also hold some weight. But yeah, I didn't want to try to trade into a brick wall and have it bounce off of that. But looking back, price did what it usually does at this level. It came up to 618, kind of got beat up a little bit, and then it broke through. It bounced, came back, broke through. You see that? So something worth noting, something worth paying attention to. Yeah. I'm gonna make a screen grab of this, and then I'm gonna go back and write in what just happened so that I can pay more attention. I could have caught this trade for sure. There's a good enough pullback right here. These, even though they're kind of bunched together, still a decent pullback for me to take this higher. And that's a good trade. That's like I just left another 3% on the table. So you see how much percentage wise, I'm usually looking at like a 2, usually a 3 actually, a 3%, 3 to 1 type of move. And if we really added it up and then we said, okay, half the time you're right, half the time you're wrong, I'm still looking at probably, I don't know. I'll have to do the exercise real time, but probably at least 10%, like a week or so. So that'd be 40% a month, and I mean, who wouldn't want to make 40% a month? That's more than enough with a decent account. But there's a lot to it. I'm getting my account up right now, and I'm going to kind of talk to you guys about my latest endeavor to do that. Because you got to be good at more than one thing whenever you're bootstrapping, right? You got to have a couple things going. So this went down like crazy. I knew that was going to happen. I called it, and it just stayed down from yesterday. It's a beautiful, beautiful entry. You see this? Boom, drop, pull back, drop. Look at all this stuff stacked. Red, pink, and blue. So pivot line, red is 50, pink is 200 EMA. And we just pulled back into it. Small candle, small candle, small candles. Okay. I'm in there on this. I'm in there. That's for sure. I'm not missing that trade. And it's inherently better than 1-to-1, which means I'm looking at these green horizontal lines comparative to the blue line, which is the median, that represents the median. And then green represents the high of the day, an average of the high of the previous day, and the green represents the average of the low of the previous day. So we're already leaning in the right direction. Beautiful pullback. All my stuff lined up. This is like the textbook version of the trade that I like taking. Probably take a screen grab of that one too. Okay. This is a 4% trade, man. That's crazy to me. Almost 5%. Crazy. Beautiful, beautiful setup. If you guys get a chance, I really highly encourage you to go ahead and grab Tradingview charts. I have a link in the description. You can just go and look at everything I'm doing here. So type in CADJPY, make sure you're looking at IDC data, and take a look at it. Try to see if you can spot these same moves. See if you're seeing the same things that I'm seeing. This is a free version of the chart. Like I said, I am bootstrapping right now. Lost my trading money with playing around with options and getting a little too loose. And so I'm building back, and y'all are getting to see the journey. But while I'm doing that, I'm staying sharp by staying on the charts, looking at potential trades, paying attention to the setups, learning these pairs like the back of my hand. Because the last time I taught somebody, I learned a ton. So I want to continue in that vein because that's how I came up with the pyramid reversal strategy. I was trading similar to that last trade I just showed you, but I wasn't doing it in like a combination way, which is what I do now. Kind of sideways on the daily. 4 hours kind of sideways. Yeah, I'm not feeling this at all. I'm not feeling this at all. Probably even take that one off. It's just not something that I'm going to be. I don't know why it does that. Every time I get the baba, it bounces back the other direction. Anyways, so I remember this. So we were coming up against a trend line that was drawn on the higher time frame, this trend line. And now we're on the underside of it looking for a reaction so we can take it low. It looks like a reaction did happen. And so this is kind of a tricky one for me personally. It broke back here on the 13th, and then it kind of looped up. You see this like J shape like this, and then we dropped off of this. Okay, so the problem I have with this is we kind of rode this trend line for a while, and we're trading off of this green horizontal bar. I hate trading off of the S1 or R1. I'm not a fan of trading off of these levels. Let me label these, man, because I keep on getting it wrong. There we go. Is that how it is? R1's always up top, technically? Okay, whatever. So R1, they do advise in Infinite Prosperity that you can trade off of R1. I never do. I don't know why. Maybe it's something I need to add to my arsenal. But first I need to back test it and really understand it and see if it works. But you would think if the pivot area is being respected, then the other areas would be as well, I guess. It makes sense. I'm not comfortable with it yet, but you can see how the trade shaped up, and you would get in right here. So just to make it visual for y'all, go ahead and set this up. It would look like this. And you would take this down to, I'd take this down to this fib level, and it's on top of the 50 EMA. So it'd probably be like something like this. I don't even know. Stop placement on that is weird for me. So 1.5. I'm not taking that too risky for only 1.5, but you know, people trade those. People trade those little 1% trades. It's fine, 1 to 1 or better. It's all preference, man. There's no one right way. Oops, here we go. CHF, so same thing. Remember, we were playing on the back side of this trend line. Yeah, just not feeling it yet. Maybe, all right, so we've got like a double bottom type of thing forming. I hate Swiss franc pairs because they're so dirty looking. Not dirty, but messy. I'm not showing this, so now that I know the labels, I just kind of adds to the confusion, right? And I'm going to offer a little bit less on this. So we can see 5 days in the past. Everything else we can just see like raw price action and a couple EMAs. Try to keep it kind of clean and simple so you can see these formations forming or whatever. No real entry here that's clean and matches my strategy personally. But definitely point of contact here that makes sense to maybe enter for some. Why? Because we've got this R1, we've got this red line, the 50 EMA, we've got the 200 EMA, the pink line, and we got the trend line. So my stop loss would be up here, and I just take this down to the previous lows. And so I don't know if the ratio makes sense on that, but I will assume so. It would look something like this. That's a 2% trade, 2.8, not bad. If it's that low, it's not getting knocked out until, so maybe something like this. It's 2.68, whatever. CADJPY, beautiful trade. I think I've already went over this one. Did I already go over this? Maybe. If I haven't, this is beautiful. This is like textbook shit right here. Euro AUD. CAD. Yeah, I did go over these. Here, man, let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, I ran through it again because I had already beat it. Anyways, sorry about that. Yeah, we covered everything. So in the comment section, hit me with anything that you have a question about or it doesn't make sense or maybe I'm fuzzy on. I'm just kind of doing it out loud the best way I know how as far as my own thought process, but I'm happy to try to make it a little bit easier for everybody else as well. So anyways, hit me. I'll catch y'all next time.